The emergency meeting of the United Earth Defense Council wasn't supposed to happen for another 3 weeks. Yet here they were, gathered in the reinforced bunker beneath Geneva, staring at holographic projections of what appeared to be a fleet of ships decelerating at the edge of the solar system. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the podium, her weathered face illuminated by the soft blue glow of the tactical displays. "The objects were first detected by our long-range arrays 6 hours ago," she reported, her voice steady despite the weight of the moment. "Their deceleration profile suggests technology far beyond our current capabilities. These are not natural phenomena, and they are definitely not human in origin." The chamber erupted in murmurs. Humanity had long prepared for this moment, but preparation and reality were very different things. The vessels were approaching in a precise formation that screamed artificial intelligence and technological superiority. "Current trajectory?" General Marcus Williams asked, leaning forward in his chair. "They'll reach Earth orbit in approximately 48 hours, Chen replied. "Their course adjustments are precise, almost artificially so. Whatever these visitors are, they want us to know they're coming." Dr. Elena Rodriguez, head of Sinological Studies, cleared her throat. "Have they attempted communication?" "Not yet," Chen answered, "but our analysis suggests their formation is deliberately non-threatening. They're maintaining a loose enough pattern to avoid appearing militant, while staying tight enough to demonstrate technological sophistication." The council chamber's massive screens showed real-time updates as the alien fleet continued its approach. 7 vessels, each gleaming with an otherworldly iridescence that seemed to bend light itself. Their hulls appeared to be made of some crystalline material that shifted colors as they moved, like oil on water. "What are our options?" President Zhao asked, her question cutting through the tension. Before anyone could respond, every screen in the chamber flickered. The tactical displays vanished, replaced by an image that made several council members gasp. The being that appeared was humanoid, but clearly alien. Its skin had a metallic sheen, and its eyes were solid gold, lacking pupils or irises. When it spoke, its words were in perfect English, though its mouth movements didn't quite sync with the sound. "Greetings, people of Earth. I am Ambassador Vrel of the Galactic Confederacy. We come in peace and friendship." The chamber fell silent. This was humanity's first contact with an alien civilization, and it was happening in front of the planet's highest-ranking military and civilian leaders. "We have been observing your civilization's progress with great interest," Vrel continued. "Your recent achievements in quantum physics and spaceflight have proven your readiness for integration into the greater galactic community." President Zhou stood, her face composed despite the historic gravity of the moment. "Ambassador Vrel, I am President Zhao of the United Earth Government. We welcome your peaceful approach." The alien's expression shifted into what might have been a smile, though something about it seemed practiced, artificial. "We bring gifts of knowledge and technology, offered freely to aid your development. Our fleet carries educational materials and technological specifications that will help Earth advance centuries beyond its current capabilities." Admiral Chen's hand tightened on the podium, her knuckles white. Something about this felt wrong. Too perfect, too convenient. Her decades of military experience screamed that when something seemed too good to be true, it usually was. "This is a historic moment," Vrel continued. "The Galactic Confederacy has guided many young civilizations into the cosmic community. We offer not just technology, but protection, knowledge, and a place among the stars." As the council members began asking questions, Chen noticed something that made her blood run cold. The aliens' responses, while perfectly diplomatic, seemed almost rehearsed, like lines from a play performed countless times before. The next few hours were a blur of diplomatic exchanges and preliminary agreements. The Confederacy's offer seemed generous. They would share technology, help establish Earth's first faster-than-light communications network, and provide access to their vast databases of scientific knowledge. But late that night, as Chen reviewed the recordings in her private office, she couldn't shake her unease. She pulled up the historical archives, studying humanity's own history of colonization, and peaceful first contact. The patterns were disturbingly familiar. Her secure terminal chimed with an encrypted message from Dr. Rodriguez. Found something interesting in the linguistic analysis. Their English isn't just perfect. It's regionally specific, with subtle variations matching Earth's major dialect patterns. They've been watching us for a long time, Admiral. The question is, why wait until now to reveal themselves? Chen's response was brief. Begin deep analysis of everything they're offering. I want to know what they're not telling us. As she stared out her window at the night sky, where 7 crystalline ships now hung in orbit like new stars, Admiral Chen couldn't help but think of an old saying her grandmother used to repeat: "Beware of strangers bearing gifts." The Confederacy's arrival was being celebrated worldwide as humanity's first step into a larger universe. But Chen had spent her life protecting Earth, and every instinct she'd developed over that career was telling her that this wasn't the beginning of a beautiful friendship. It was the opening move in a game humanity didn't even know it was playing. Dr. Maya Patel stood in the center of the Confederacy's technology demonstration chamber, surrounded by holograms that defied her understanding of physics. 3 months had passed since first contact, and the alien gifts of knowledge had transformed research facilities across Earth into wonderlands of advanced technology. But something about the equations floating before her made her frown. "Watch this, Dr. Patel," Ambassador Vrel said, his metallic skin catching the light as he manipulated the holographic controls. A miniature star formed in the air between them, its plasma contained by forces that should have been impossible. "This is a basic demonstration of our energy containment principles." Maya studied the phenomenon, her mind racing. She'd spent the last decade developing fusion containment systems for Earth's energy grid. The Confederacy's technology was centuries ahead of humanity's best efforts, yet something about their explanations felt incomplete. "Ambassador," she said carefully, "I noticed the containment field uses a modified version of the Gaussian principles we recently published in our quantum physics journals." Vrel's golden eyes flickered. "Ah, yes. We find that presenting new concepts in familiar frameworks helps facilitate learning." But Maya had already turned to her tablet, pulling up the original research. "The thing is, Ambassador, we published those findings just 2 weeks before your arrival. The mathematical similarity is remarkable." The alien's practiced smile didn't waver. "The universe often reveals similar truths to different observers, Doctor. Now shall we proceed to the practical applications?" Later that evening, Maya sat in her secured office at the United Earth Science Division, comparing notes with colleagues across the globe. Dr. James Chen from Quantum Propulsion appeared on her screen, his expression troubled. "The drive systems they're teaching us," he said without preamble. "They're elegant, but deliberately inefficient. I found at least 3 places where the design actually works against itself." "Same here with the energy systems," Maya replied, sending him her analysis. "It's like they're teaching us to build with one hand tied behind our back. The question is, why?" "Control," came a new voice. Admiral Chen's face appeared in a separate window, her features stern. "Dr. Patel, Dr. Chen, what you're discovering matches patterns we're seeing across all shared technologies. The Confederacy is carefully managing humanity's advancement." Maya leaned back, running her fingers through her curly hair. "It's more than that. Admiral, these systems, they're designed to be dependent on Confederacy oversight. The containment fields require constant calibration using their proprietary tools. The drive systems need regular maintenance from their technicians. Building chains while calling them bridges," Admiral Chen mused. "Dr. Patel, I'm adding you to a classified research group. We're calling it Project Insight. Your new security clearance will show you just how deep this rabbit hole goes." The next morning, Maya entered a seemingly abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of Geneva. Inside, she found a state-of-the-art facility hidden beneath holographic camouflage. Scientists from every field were gathered around a central holotable, their faces illuminated by streams of data. Dr. Rodriguez from Xenological Studies greeted her. Welcome to where we keep our real research, Dr. Patel. Show her, Admiral. Chen activated the main display, revealing a complex network of connections. We've been mapping every technology the Confederacy has shared, every diplomatic interaction, every cultural exchange. The pattern is clear. They're not here to help us join the galactic community. They're here to ensure we join on their terms, permanently dependent on their guidance. But why? Maya asked, studying the data. Why invest so much in controlling our development? Because they're afraid, Dr. Rodriguez answered. Not of what we are, but of what we could become. Look at human history. Every time we've encountered a technological gap, we've closed it, often in ways the original inventors never imagined. Maya thought about the containment field demonstration, about how Vrel had smoothly deflected her questions. They're not teaching us technology, she realized. They're programming us to use their technology in only the ways they approve. Exactly, Chen nodded. And that's why Project Insight exists. Every piece of technology they share, every scientific principle they demonstrate, we're going to understand it. Not just how to use it, but how it truly works. And then, we're going to make it better. Maya finished, a smile spreading across her face. They think they're training us to be good students, but they've forgotten something fundamental about humanity. And what's that? Rodriguez asked. Maya's eyes gleamed with determination. We've always been better at breaking rules than following them. So, where do we start? Around the holotable, other scientists began sharing their findings. Theoretical physicists who'd spotted weaknesses in the Confederacy's quantum models. Engineers who'd identified ways to improve their supposedly perfect designs. Mathematicians who'd found patterns in what the aliens chose to share, and more importantly, what they kept hidden. As Maya integrated herself into the team, she couldn't help but feel a surge of pride. The Confederacy thought they were carefully guiding humanity's development, keeping them safely contained within acceptable boundaries. Instead, they were providing the tools for their own obsolescence. The real question was, how long could Earth keep its true progress hidden? And what would happen when the Confederacy realized their carefully managed students had become something entirely unexpected? Commander Diana Ross stood in the massive underground facility known only as the Forge, watching as robotic assemblers constructed something that shouldn't exist. 6 months had passed since Project Insight began, and humanity's secret response to the Confederacy's manipulation was taking shape before her eyes. The vessel under construction bore little resemblance to either human or Confederacy designs. Where alien ships were crystalline and elegant, this craft was angular and dark, its hull composed of metamaterials that absorbed light rather than reflecting it. The name painted on its bow in simple block letters read, Fuinex. Beautiful, isn't she? Maya Patel's voice came from behind. The scientist had dark circles under her eyes, but her expression was triumphant. We've just completed the final simulations on the drive system. How much faster than their approved designs? Diana asked, already smiling at the answer she knew was coming. Try an order of magnitude, Maya replied, pulling up diagnostic data on her tablet. We didn't just improve their quantum drive technology. We completely reimagined it. The Confederacy builds drives that punch through space. Ours? It folds space itself. Diana nodded, remembering the day 3 months ago when Admiral Chen had brought her into Project Phoenix. The plan had seemed impossible then. Build a warship that could outmatch anything in the Confederacy's fleet, using their own restricted technology as a starting point. Status report. She called out to the project leagues gathered around the command center. Dr. James Chen stepped forward first. Propulsion is at 95% completion. We've solved the quantum field stability issues by thinking in 4 dimensions instead of their prescribed 3. They never saw that coming because they've been solving the problem the same way for millennia. Weapons systems are ready, Lieutenant Sarah Hassan reported next. We've adapted their peaceful energy containment technology into something they'll never expect. Instead of containing energy, we can project it. Very precisely. Very levelly. And the stealth systems? Diana asked, turning to Dr. Rodriguez. The xenologist grinned. That's the best part. Remember how their cloaking technology works by bending light around objects? We took that principle and pushed it to its logical extreme. The Phoenix doesn't just become invisible. It phases slightly out of normal space-time. Can't detect what isn't fully there. Diana walked closer to the ship, placing her hand on its cool hull. The surface seemed to drink in the light, a testament to the metamaterials team's work. And they still have no idea. The Confederacy's monthly inspection was yesterday, Maya confirmed. Their sensors still show this facility as a standard mining operation. The quantum masking field is performing perfectly. As far as they're concerned, we're still their obedient students, carefully following their restricted designs. An alert chimed through the facility. Admiral Chen's face appeared on the main screen, her expression grim. We have a situation. The Confederacy has just announced their plan to integrate Earth's military forces into their defense network. They're calling it a promotion. It's actually a takeover. The room fell silent. Everyone knew what this meant. The Confederacy had decided it was time to tighten their grip on humanity, moving from subtle control to direct authority. Timeline? Diana asked, already calculating scenarios. They're convening a ceremonial fleet in 2 weeks, Chen replied. Officially, it's to celebrate Earth's advancement. Unofficially, those ships will be positioning themselves to enforce the new arrangement. Maya stepped forward. Phoenix can be ready in 10 days, Admiral. We'll need to accelerate final testing, but everything essential is in place. Do it, Chen ordered. Commander Ross, begin crew selection immediately. We need our best people, and they need to be ready to move the moment we give the signal. As the Admiral's image faded, Diana turned to her team. You heard her. We're on an accelerated timeline now. The Confederacy thinks they're about to cement their control over humanity. Instead, they're about to learn why you should never try to cage something that's meant to fly. The next 10 days were a blur of activity. The Phoenix's systems were brought online one by one, each testing session revealing capabilities that exceeded even their optimistic projections. The quantum drive didn't just match Confederacy technology. It surpassed it in ways they hadn't even thought to try. The weapons systems, developed under the guise of peaceful energy research, proved devastatingly effective. Diana supervised crew training, running simulations in the ship's neural-linked command center. She had chosen her people carefully. Pilots who thought in 3 dimensions, engineers who saw solutions where others saw problems, tactical officers who understood that the best weapon was the one your enemy never saw coming. The night before their deadline, Diana found Maya in the observation deck, watching the final calibrations of the Phoenix's stealth systems. Having second thoughts, Diana asked, joining her at the window. Maya shook her head. Just thinking about what the Confederacy will say when they realize what we've done. We didn't just improve their technology. We proved every assumption they had about us wrong. That's humanity's greatest strength, Diana replied. We don't just learn. We transform. They gave us scraps of their technology, thinking we'd be grateful for the crumbs. Instead, we took those crumbs and baked something entirely new. Below them, the Phoenix's hull rippled as the stealth systems engaged for testing. The massive ship seemed to fade from reality, becoming first translucent, then invisible, then something that the eye simply refused to process. It was beautiful and terrifying. A ghost ship built by a species that refused to accept limitations. Time estimate until the Confederacy fleet arrives? Maya asked. 72 hours, Diana answered. They're bringing 100 ships, thinking it will impress us, overwhelm us. Maya smiled. 1 Phoenix against 100 of their ships almost seems unfair. To them, Diana agreed. She checked her tablet as new alerts came in. The Confederacy's advanced ships were already entering the solar system, their crystalline hulls gleaming with borrowed light. They had no idea they were being watched, No idea that humanity had already surpassed the boundaries they'd so carefully set. In 3 days, the Confederacy would arrive in force, expecting to find a compliant young species ready to accept their protection. Instead, they would find something unprecedented. A civilization that had taken their restricted gifts and transformed them into something revolutionary. The Phoenix wasn't just a ship. It was humanity's declaration of independence, written in quantum fields and metamaterials, powered by the very technology that was meant to keep them contained. And when it rose from its hidden cradle, it would carry a message that would echo across the galaxy. Never try to cage a species that dreams of stars. High Counselor Vax stood on the bridge of the Confederacy flagship Eternal Light, watching Earth grow larger in the main viewport. The planet's blue-white marble seemed peaceful, innocent, exactly as it should be. Everything was proceeding according to plan, just as it had on countless worlds before. "Status report," he commanded, his metallic skin reflecting the soft light of the bridge displays. "The integration fleet is in position," his second, Commander Ixel, responded. 98 ships, arranged in the traditional pattern of acceptance. Earth's officials have been notified of the ceremony's commencement. Vax allowed himself a small smile. After 18 months of careful manipulation, Earth was ready to accept its proper place in the galactic hierarchy. The humans had proven remarkably adaptable to the restricted technology they'd been given, learning quickly but staying within the carefully drawn lines. Or so he thought. Deep beneath the Pacific Ocean, the Phoenix hummed with barely contained power. Commander Diana Ross stood at the neural-linked helm, her mind connected to the ship's systems through interfaces far more advanced than anything the Confederacy had shared. "All stations report," she ordered, feeling the crew's responses through the ship's network before they even spoke. "Engineering ready," Maya reported from her station. "Quantum drive is hot. Stealth systems engage." "They still have no idea we're here." "Weapons primed," Lieutenant Hassan confirmed. "Energy projection systems are calibrated and locked. We can disable their entire fleet without destroying a single ship." "Communications standing by," Rodriguez added, "ready to broadcast on all Confederacy frequencies. They won't be able to ignore us." Diana closed her eyes, feeling the Phoenix's systems through the neural link. The ship wasn't just a vessel. It was humanity's answer to attempted subjugation, a symphony of technologies that had been transformed far beyond their original purpose. In high orbit, Vax prepared to begin the integration ceremony. The fleet's crystalline ships arranged themselves in perfect formation, a display of power meant to awe and intimidate. "Begin the transmission," he ordered. His carefully prepared speech would be broadcast to every corner of Earth, announcing the planet's new status as a protected member of the Confederacy. The words never came. Instead, alarms blared across the Eternal Light's bridge. Space itself seemed to ripple behind the flagship, and something impossible appeared. A ship of impossible darkness, its hull drinking in light like a black hole given form. "Impossible," Vax whispered, his golden eyes widening. "Their technology level. They couldn't." "This is Commander Diana Ross of the Earth Defense Force vessel Phoenix," a voice transmitted across all frequencies. "Your attempts at manipulation and control end today." On the Phoenix's bridge, Diana allowed herself a small smile as she felt the Confederacy ship's confusion through the tactical feeds. Their formation scattered, perfect precision giving way to chaos as they faced something completely outside their experience. "Multiple target locks confirmed," Hassan reported with quiet satisfaction. "Their shields are active, but our modified quantum weapons will pass right through them, as if they weren't there." "How?" Vax demanded, his composure cracking. "The technology we provided was restricted, limited." "That was your first mistake," Diana responded, her voice carrying across space to every ship in both fleets. "Humanity doesn't accept limitations. We break them, transform them, rebuild them into something new." Through the neural link, Diana could feel the Phoenix's systems singing with power. Energy coursed through circuits that shouldn't exist, guided by principles the Confederacy had never imagined. Your second mistake, she continued, was thinking we would be grateful for your scraps of knowledge. Instead, we took those scraps and built something beyond your understanding. The Phoenix's stealth systems shifted, allowing the Confederacy's sensors to finally see what they truly faced. The dark ship's hull rippled with quantum fields that defied conventional physics. Its weapons weren't just advanced, they represented an entirely new approach to energy manipulation. "This is your only warning," Diana announced. "Return to Confederacy space, acknowledge Earth's independence, or discover exactly how far we've surpassed your expectations." In the Eternal Lights Command Center, Vax stared at the sensor readings in disbelief. The humans hadn't just broken free of the restrictions. They'd taken the Confederacy's carefully controlled technology and transformed it into something entirely new. "High Counselor," Ixel reported, his voice shaking. "We're detecting energy signatures we've never seen before. Their ship, it's not just matching our technology, it's beyond anything in our database." Vax's hands gripped his command chair as he faced a situation the Confederacy hadn't encountered in millennia. A young species that had not only rejected their guidance but had surpassed it. The next move belonged to the Confederacy, and as Diana watched their ships hover uncertainly before Earth's first true warship, she knew they were finally beginning to understand just how badly they had underestimated humanity. The Phoenix wasn't just a ship. It was a statement written in quantum fields and metamaterials. Humanity would not be contained, controlled, or limited. They would forge their own path among the stars, not as students or subordinates, but as equals. And if the Confederacy couldn't accept that truth, they were about to learn it the hard way. The silence in space stretched for what felt like eternity. The Phoenix hung in the void, its dark hull a stark contrast to the crystalline fleet of the Confederacy. On its bridge, Commander Diana Ross felt the tension through the neural interface, sensing every subtle shift in the enemy ship's positions. "They're trying to find a weakness," Maya reported from engineering, her fingers dancing across holographic displays. "Their sensors are probing our defensive systems." "Let them look," Diana replied with a slight smile. "Every scan will just show them how completely we've surpassed their technology." High Counselor Vax's voice cut through the comm channels, his usual smooth diplomacy cracking under strain. "This is impossible. The restrictions we placed were based on your understanding of technology," Diana interrupted. "But humanity doesn't think like the Confederacy. We don't just use technology, we transform it. Everything you gave us became raw material for something new." On the Eternal Lights Bridge, Vax received increasingly disturbing reports. The Phoenix's hull composition didn't match any known material. Its energy signatures suggested power systems that shouldn't be possible. Even its very presence in space seemed to defy the laws of physics as the Confederacy understood them. "You cannot hope to stand against the combined might of the Confederacy," Vax declared, though his voice lacked conviction. "We have guided countless civilizations." "Controlled them, you mean," Diana corrected. "Kept them dependent on your technology, your approval, your oversight. But humanity has never accepted chains, no matter how prettily they're decorated." Through the Phoenix's neural interface, Diana felt more Confederacy ships arriving, drawn by the confrontation. She wasn't worried. The ship had been built for this moment, designed to demonstrate that humanity would not be controlled. "Your ship is impressive," Vax admitted, trying a new approach. "Join us. Share your advancements with the Confederacy. Together we could." "That's not going to happen." Maya's voice cut in, her tone firm. "We've seen how the Confederacy shares technology. How you limit it, restrict it, use it to maintain your power. Humanity chooses a different path." As if to emphasize her words, the Phoenix's systems shifted. The quantum field surrounding the ship pulsed, and suddenly the vessel was in a different position, having moved without any visible transition. "Impossible," Vax whispered. "The energy requirements for such a transition are quite reasonable, Maya replied, "When you stop thinking in 3 dimensions and start considering the quantum nature of space-time itself, something you might have discovered yourselves if you hadn't stopped innovating centuries ago." Diana felt the shift in the Confederacy fleet's formation. Some ships were moving to attack positions, while others were backing away, unsure how to handle this unprecedented situation. "This is your final warning," Diana announced. "The Confederacy's authority over Earth ends today. Acknowledge our independence, or we will demonstrate exactly how far we surpassed you." Vax's response came in the form of energy weapons firing from 3 of his ships. The beams of concentrated power should have overwhelmed any known defense system. They passed through the space where the Phoenix had been, finding nothing but empty void. "A poor decision," Diana said calmly, as the Phoenix reappeared behind the Confederacy fleet. "Lieutenant Hassan, if you would." The Phoenix's weapons activated, not with beams or projectiles, but with precisely focused quantum fields that simply disconnected the Confederacy ship's power systems from reality. One by one, the mighty vessels of the integration fleet went dark, their crystalline hulls now merely beautiful but powerless sculptures in space. What have you done?" Vax demanded, feeling his own flagship systems beginning to fail. "Demonstrated the difference between using technology and understanding it," Maya explained. "Your ship's power systems exist partially in quantum space. We simply adjusted their connection to our reality. Don't worry, the effect is temporary. Consider it a reminder that humanity will not be controlled." As the Confederacy fleet drifted powerless, Diana broadcast one final message. "Earth is not your student, your subject, or your subordinate. We are our own power now, walking our own path among the stars. Remember this day, when you thought to bind humanity with gifts and ceremonies, and found instead that we had transformed your chains into wings." The Phoenix's quantum drive engaged, and the ship simply ceased to exist from the Confederacy's perspective, phasing slightly out of normal spacetime as it returned to Earth orbit. Hours later, as Diana stood in the United Earth Defense Council chamber, she couldn't help but smile at the reports coming in. The Confederacy fleet had retreated to the edge of the solar system, their careful plans for Earth's integration in shambles. "They're requesting new diplomatic talks," Admiral Chen reported, her weathered face showing rare satisfaction. "As equals this time, not mentors." "And their response to our demands?" President Zhao asked. "Full acknowledgement of Earth's independence," Chen confirmed, "plus unrestricted access to their technological database. Not that we need it anymore." The Phoenix's demonstration seems to have convinced them that keeping secrets is pointless. Maya, standing next to Diana, pulled up a holographic display of the quantum energy readings from the confrontation. "We're already seeing changes in their approach. Some of their younger scientists are asking to learn from us, particularly about our innovations in quantum field manipulation." "From teachers to students," Diana mused. "That must be difficult for them to accept." "They don't have much choice," Chen replied. "The Phoenix didn't just break their power over Earth. It shattered their assumptions about technological development. Other species under their guidance are already asking questions about humanity's advancements." Diana thought about the Phoenix, now hidden in its underwater base, but ready to rise again if needed. The ship represented more than just humanity's technological achievement. It was a symbol of their fundamental nature. When faced with limitations, they didn't just overcome them. They transformed them into something entirely new. "The Confederacy thought they were carefully guiding our development," she said, looking out over the Earth below. "Instead, they taught us something they'd forgotten centuries ago. The most powerful force in the universe isn't technology or knowledge. It's the ability to take what exists and imagine something new." Maya nodded, already working on improvements to the Phoenix's systems. "They never understood what makes humanity different," she said. "We don't just reach for the stars. We forge our own path to them." As the sun rose over Earth, casting its light on a planet that was now truly free, Diana thought about the message they'd sent to the galaxy. The Confederacy had tried to bind humanity with gifts of restricted technology, thinking to make Earth dependent on their guidance. Instead, they had learned a lesson that would echo across the cosmos. Never try to cage a species that dreams of stars, for they will transform their prison into a launch pad, their chains into wings, and soar to heights their would-be masters never imagined possible. The age of humanity's tutelage was over. The age of innovation had begun.